I think there is only one quality worse than hardness of heart, and that is softness of head.
That was President Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States and one of the most colorful voices of America.
Believe you can, and you're halfway there.
Before Theodore Roosevelt was president, he was part of the first volunteer academy known forever as the Rough Riders, for indeed they were.
A determined conservationist and a true patriot, Roosevelt became president of the start of a brand new century in the young nation called the United States of America.
Do what you can with what you have where you are.
By the time America was only 100 years old, it had already made its mark as one of the greatest nations in the history of civilization.
Yet there are only 8,000 cars and 10 miles of paved roads.
The average person made $12.98 a week.
President Roosevelt said,
"The government is us. We are the government, you and I."
Then he said,
"Far and away, the best prize life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing."
And finally he said,
"I am only the average man, but by George, I work harder at it than the average man."
That was the character of 1901 America.
As the world turned into a new century, America was turning into a place where everyone wanted to be.
Patriotism reached new levels in 1904, and the place to be was St. Louis, Missouri for the Louisiana Purchase Centennial Exposition, more commonly known as the World's Fair.
The year is 1918 at the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month.
"Extra, extra, read all about it. The war to end all wars is over."
The country and the world were emerging from a rough era of war and epidemic. There seemed to have been talk of events that seemed to have caused the conflict.
But President Woodrow Wilson said,
"Peace has to be a peace of reconciliation, a peace without victory. For a victor's peace will leave a sting, a resentment, bitter memory upon which terms of peace would rest, not permanently, but only as upon quicksand."
From this idea, the League of Nations was born. President Wilson said this about America:
"America is not anything if it consists of each of us. It is only something if it consists of all of us."
Altogether, America was ready to celebrate and have some fun. So the 1920s came in with a Rwanda dance that was the cat's meow.
America and the rest of the Western industrialized world suffered what has come to be known as the Great Depression. Dust Bowl, bank closures, a collapse in agriculture, and other problems plagued the nation, and times were hard.
America bent, but it did not break. President Franklin Roosevelt said,
I pledge you, I pledge myself to a new deal for the American people.
Not everyone loved President Roosevelt's New Deal, but there's definitely new feeling in the 1930s.
America rolled up its sleeves and got to work finding happiness and satisfaction in the joy of upbeat song and dance.
World War I was a war known to end all wars, but that was not the case.
In 1940, World War II began, and American soldiers were back in the battlefields in Europe and Asia.
Young women were working in factories at home to support the war and as nurses on the war front.
Young men were signing up in droves and being shipped all over the world as defenders of freedom and liberty.
Once again, families and friends were separated, and the loneliness of war took a toll on all Americans.
Yet it was a promise of being back together with family and friends that helped boyfriends and girlfriends, brothers and sisters, moms and dads, and all fellow Americans survive the pain of separation and believe in brighter days ahead.
Dear Mom and Pop, it has been almost 11 months since I last saw you, but I look at your picture many times a day and night and read your letters over and over. This war in Europe rages on and on as it does in Asia, and it seems like every other part of the world. I cannot tell you where I am, but it's cold and wet and lonely as can be. I can't wait till this war is over and I can come home. No need to worry, Mom and Pop. I'll be home real soon.
The days are lonely, the nights are long, as I sit writing my sad, sad song. I promise you as I gaze
last, the long war was over in Europe and in Asia. The men and women were coming home.
Ironically, the war was actually a boost for the American economy, and hope for happier and brighter days ahead made America a happy and happening place to be.
Hello, baby. Welcome to 1959. Things are looking up, boys and girls. World War II is over. The economy is pumping along, and things are looking good. So grab your poodle skirts, slick back your hair, and get your daddy's T-bird, because America's on a rock and roll.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
That's Eleanor Roosevelt, First Lady of the United States from 1933 to 1945.
Even after her years in the White House, Mrs. Roosevelt continued to be one of the most influential women in American history.
She was a champion for civil rights, the new idea of the United Nations, and of course, women's rights.
A woman's like a tea bag. You can't tell how strong she's tea. Put her in hot water.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
World War II hero John Kennedy became President of the United States in 1960 and challenged America to set lofty goals for its future.
As we set sail, we ask God's blessing on the most dangerous, hazardous, and greatest adventure on which man has ever embarked.
Very lofty.
We choose to go to the moon.
See what I mean?
We choose to go to the moon and do these other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
In the spirit of America in the 1950s and 60s, the idea of a great young nation burned even brighter.
A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on.
Our best ideas have always been the ones we've worked together as a nation to bring to reality.
In a very real sense, it will not only be one man going to the moon, it will be an entire nation, for we have all worked to put him there.
The common dream of a great nation was being passed from one generation to the next.
Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike. The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
I still love a dream. It's a dream deeply rooted
choosing the American dream.
That's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. speaking of the hope of the American dream.
I have a dream that my children will one day live in a nation where they not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
The 1960s and 70s were important growing up years in this great country called America. In some ways, they were difficult years indeed.
But for those who believed in the dream, that after each struggle, America turned out better on the other side.
It's better to light a candle than curse the darkness.
That's the real dream of all of America's true voices.
Hey man, can you show me the way to Woodstock?
Oh dear, honey, I believe that man is a hippie.
I can't tell if it's a boy or a girl with that long hair.
You don't know what that man's been into.
You gotta chill, man. We're just happy to be alive.
It's so true. In the 1960s and 70s, a lot of Americans were disillusioned by yet another war in what seemed to be an impossible generation gap.
Many of them are tired of wars overseas and cultural wars at home.
America was ready for a period of peace, love, and brotherhood.
Right on.
Roosevelt said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face."
Woodrow Wilson said, "America lives in the heart of every man who wishes to find a region where he will be free to work out his destiny as he chooses."
Theodore Roosevelt said, "This country will not be a good place for any of us to live in unless we make it a good place for all of us to live in."
As he stepped onto the moon's surface, Neil Armstrong said, "This is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
And America did indeed take giant steps forward.
Today, there's a new set of voices in this great land called America.
We, who stand before you now, are the new American voices.
As we grow and learn from those who have gone before us, we add our own voices to the chorus that make up the beauty of the American song.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic